So, this is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor of BS Busters, and this is the start of a new series called Re-View, where I re-review old games. Games that I've already reviewed or talked about or played, and contemplate, do they deserve their initial review? This is the first game in the series, Agents of Mayhem. Now, Agents of Mayhem was the game that the studio behind Saints Row made after Saints Row got out of hell. I guess they needed a break from Saints Row, and here you go, Agents of Mayhem. Now, Agents of Mayhem is not the best game. Initially, when I reviewed this game, I said that it is repetitive and the repetition just kind of gets to be a bit too much. I stand by that statement. I stand by that statement. The game is a little too repetitive. Like, it's really fucking repetitive. However, I'm guessing because I'm older and I just want something that's going to eat up a little bit of time, the repetition isn't quite as annoying as it was when I first played this game. Basically, with this game, I guess the thing that kind of hurt this game's critical response and sales response is that people were thinking they were getting a Saints Row game. This game is only tangentially related to Saints Row. Tangentially. Like, it has alternate reality versions of Saints Row characters, but it is, in fact, not a Saints Row game. Which is kind of sad because... there's some good shit in this game. And there are some good aspects of this game. For example, never has the gunplay in a Saints Row style game been so good. Like, people thought the gunplay in Saints Row 3 Remastered was good. But the gunplay in this game is so much better. The graphics, the game is fucking gorgeous. It's hyper stylized, but still pretty good. But despite all of that, it's there are some net positives to the title. The graphics are good, the gameplay is good. How the game focuses on mobility, you constantly moving around, that's also good too. There are good things about this game. The downside is that about the title is, people who are fans of Saints Row went to this game thinking, oh, so it's going to be basically Saints Row in a new city. But it isn't. To its detriment for those expectations. But if you basically look at this game as being its own thing and not being related to Saints Row, then you can enjoy it. So I'll get to the negative things in the next cut, and then what I would do to fix this game. So here we go, after the cut. So, one of the central conceits of this game that kind of brings it down, in my humble opinion, is the gameplay loop is not fun. At least, it doesn't get fun later on. Because, here's the thing. The big point about this game is okay, this game is worth playing. The big thing about this game is that the gameplay loop is you start out at your headquarters, you choose a mission, you go down to the city of Seoul, South Korea, a futurized city of Seoul, South Korea, And then you basically do the same gameplay loop over and over again. You do basic activities like racing, take over outposts and shit, that type of thing. And it just gets, like, in the beginning of the game, it's like, okay, you're upgrading your characters, etc., etc. But later on, it just gets to be a little too, samey. You know, you fight your way into a lair, you find some treasure chests filled with loot that you use to unlock new vehicles or get new special items, craft new special items that you can use to attack or heal yourself or otherwise do cool shit. And that's the game. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but it just gets really fucking old really fucking quickly. It's like, this could have been so much better. And that's kind of the gameplay loop in the beginning of the game isn't that bad, but once you get further into the game, the gameplay loop gets to be a little bit too much. And that's kind of the downside of the title. The gameplay loop just doesn't satisfy. The amount of shit you have to do in the game isn't satisfied by the gameplay loop in the title. And that kind of brings the game down. So that being said, here are some of the things I would do in order to make the game better after the cut. So, in order to make the game better, I would change three things. First of all, I would have either a smaller roster with more fleshed out characters, or I would just add with more fleshed out characters, or if you don't want to go through that, I would have a bigger roster with more fleshed out characters. Either way, one of the weaknesses of the game is the fact that they have a huge roster, but the characters aren't very fleshed out. You get a lot of ambient story, but not a lot of like what's going on. I think that kind of brings the game down a little bit. Second thing I would do is I would make the missions a little less. How can I put this? Samey. I would have different things going on. Because basically, this game is the best G.I. Joe game ever made. But that's still really fucking samey. So, but overall, it's not terrible. It's just, like, the gameplay loop, once you get far enough into the game, gets to be a little bit too much. So, with that being said, my third thing that I would do to make this game better is I would make the driving a lot better. The driving in this game is kind of like very underwhelming. The vehicles that you get from the Agency of Mayhem, the powered up special vehicles, are great. The vehicles that you get that you can hijack off of the street from pedestrians are fucking terrible. I mean, they are a steaming pile of dog shit. So, those are the things I would change in order to make this game better. But that's my own personal opinion. So I'll get to my rating after the cut. So my rating for this game is this. If you want a game that's a little bit repetitive but still has a lot of shit going on, then this game is for you. It's a little bit repetitive. It's not, if you're expecting another Saints Row, lower your expectations. You're not going to get that. But, it is what it is. Upcoming events, we have our podcast this Saturday, the BS Busters End of Week podcast, hour and a half, 7:30 p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be covering various news topics of the week. So look forward to that. That's the end of this review. Next week, I will be uploading a review of Paper Mario Origami King. That's going to be fun. So peace and enjoy.
No, fuck that. I love barging in.